Chitska, what's your experience of using the Soother?
So my experience as a chiropractor has been great, and I've seen really good results with baby patients. And then I've also had my personal experience as a mum. I had my firstborn 5 years ago, and I had a lot of nights that were very tough. And then when I was pregnant again, I thought something needs to be different this time. I knew I wasn't so keen on a traditional pacifier. And so I saw Nicky talking about the Qudo, and I'd already seen Nicky come across a lot of times on these chiropractic discussions, pediatric discussions, and I really rated her expert knowledge. And so when she was advertising about this Qudo coming onto the market quite a bit later, I asked her, would it be possible for me to try this? My baby has not been born yet, but I'd love to try it. And she said, sure, I can send you a prototype. And so when my baby was 1 week old, the prototype arrived. And she took to it really well, and it made a big difference. So similar experiences to the other mum. There wasn't this constant sucking. And then 2 weeks went by, and she had done really well with the Qudo. And unfortunately, she got RSV, the virus, and she got bronchiolitis. And she ended up having to be admitted to the hospital and the intensive care unit. They weren't sure if she was going to have to be put under to so they could take over the function of the lungs. So they said to me, you cannot breastfeed her. And initially they gave her some food through an angiotube, but that also had to stop after a couple of days. And to have this soother, it was just a lifesaver. I knew that she wouldn't get the nipple confusion like she may have had I given a traditional pacifier. And also knowing what I knew about the soother, I felt like it was giving her a mini treatment every time when she took it. And it was so very calming for her in this very stressful time when she desperately wanted to feed and wasn't allowed. Yeah, you could see her physically calming from the soother. So
Gosh,
to me,
that's
it's been a lifesaver.
that's a very reassuring story there. Chitska, you've actually answered one of the questions which has come in from one of our audience today. Part of Pip's question is, do you think that this could have any effect on nipple confusion? And I confess that nipple confusion is something I have never heard of before. I didn't realise this was a thing.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, sure. Fortunately, so far, we've had no evidence of that, and baby clearly knows the difference.
But this is a thing, is it?
It can be. It can be. And I think one of the great benefits of the teat and the density of the teat is it actually strengthens that suck-swallow reflex, so it actually improves feeding.
So just for my benefit,
sure.
what is nipple confusion? I mean, it looks like a nipple.
Nipple confusion can be where a baby has maybe started off with breastfeeding, and then you may introduce, say, bottle feeding, and then after a while it prefers the bottle feeding rather than the breastfeeding. But
so in terms of a conventional dummy, they might prefer that to breastfeeding?
And there is also a lot of, how do I explain this? There's a lot of myth and a lot of noise out there about, do not give your baby a soother, blah, blah, blah. It's going to, affect breastfeeding. But fortunately, we've been able to demonstrate with the Qudo, it doesn't do that. And rather, just to say, you can be a young baby on it, and clearly they know the difference.